Good morning guys, welcome to the video. My name's Derek, also known as Tap Peddler, and as you know I'm renovating my derelict barn to use for my business as a warehouse and office space. And today I'm going to be dealing with this. Now let me just show you some details about it. So when this barn was built back in the early 1800s, it went all the way along, but at some point in the past they've extended the barn, this big bit, and they've added and made it higher. They've done like brick on the stonework, and they've pulled it out a little bit to make it wider. Now where they've done that, they've obviously added it here, and through time it's eroded and basically starting to fall apart. Also, I don't know whether this brick here is the original brick from when this was built, or whether it's basically fallen down and they've repaired it with brick. But it's old construction, none of it's level, but it is pretty solid. I have actually repaired some of this in the past as well, but this needs urgent attention now. As you can see, I'm busy dealing with the top of this wall, and I'm building it up at the top, but I'm also going to repoint all this and replace some of the bricks, ready for the new roof on here. But before I do that, I want to make sure that this is pretty solid. So this needs back pointing, repointing, tying into this barn wall, which also needs a bit of pointing, and then it needs rebuilt here just to give it all strength and stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm starting it today. It's not as warm as I'd like, working with the lime mortar. You really don't want to be doing it in cold temperatures, but the sun is out, so I'll protect this overnight. Once it's done, should be okay, I think. So to begin with, basically, let me get you down here. I need to clear out all this, get rid of all the loose parts, and it's got to be done really carefully, because obviously the more I take out at the bottom, the less stable the top gets. But I can't build at the top until I've built at the bottom, so I've just got to do it really carefully. Only take out as much as I need to take out, and then reinforce it with mortar. Now really what you want to do with these old brick buildings, you don't want the it's unlike stone, it's unlike brickwork, traditional sort of brickwork and cement. You want to use lime mortar so the stones can breathe, sandstones can breathe, but you also want the stones to do the work rather than the mortar. So basically you put a tiny bit of mortar on, put a stone and a little bit more mortar, and you backfill it. So they're almost laying on top of each other with very little mortar. That's how you want to do it. So all the support of the wall is in the stonework. So basically I've got to find stones that fit quite nicely in this gap. Now, as I said before, I've got loads of stones from the land, so I'm going to keep as much as I can that's here, but it all needs brushing off It's going to need dampening down and then backfilling, and trying to find some decent stones that will match it in. I also want to try and keep it level with this brick wall. Now, this brick wall isn't actually straight, so I've got to sort of go a mixture of keeping it straight, as in like vertical with the spirit level, but also tying it in with the wall. So I need to do a bit of mixing and matching, so it's basically strengthening it up. That's the main thing. But I reckon I can get this looking pretty good. I've done some stonework before on my front of the house, built about 3 walls with traditional stone and lime mortar, but that was a few years ago. That was about 5 or 6 years ago. So yeah, it should be fine, but it needs doing desperately, but it needs to be doing really delicately, because I don't want to disturb too much, because if I disturb too much, you know what's going to happen. It's going to come down, so we don't want that. So yeah, I've got to be really careful, but I've got some Portland cement that needs removing from here as well. So yeah, let's get on with it. I'm going to mix up the mortar in a bit, but I need to remove some of this debris around here, so I've got a nice clean working space. I have a load of stones that are sourced from my land, bits and bobs as I've dug them out the ground. I've found them sort of around the land, dotted about. So I've managed to do most of the brickwork for the whole house by using bricks and blocks that have been dotted about and left over the years to keep the history in the building and stuff. So this is what I'll be using. I've got some more if I need it, but there should be plenty here to deal with that. Yeah, and I've got to basically do this, guys, before I start messing around with the roof, because as I said before, once the roof goes on, I won't be able to actually gain access to this part to do any repointing without sort of laying on the new panels, which I want to avoid really. So the other side of that wall I can repoint when I do the roof of that wall, of that barn. So we come around here, you can see the inner side of that wall needs repointing as well. So I'll be doing that when I do the roof, because I'll gain access then. I'm going to do the outside here probably. Not sure if I might probably just leave that for now. Try to do the essential stuff before the barn roof goes on. So this is one of the things that needs to be done, and I need to do some work over here as well. But this is the job at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to time lapse it, and hopefully I'll see some results once it's done. Yeah, it's good consistency there. So what I'm using is, for this particular job, is ready mixed lime mortar from Mason's Mortar. So you basically just add water. Choose different colours and stuff. This is the colour that I guessed is roughly similar to what's already there, but there's so much difference in the colours anyway. I'm not repointing everything, so yeah, it'll be fine. So you can basically keep that now and cover it up, and it will continue to work for even just a couple of days, I think. So that'll be fine, but I'll probably get through it all today. But I've got 3 bags of this, for this particular job. I think when I start doing the internal walls, stuff like this, what I might do is I might buy just the lime mortar mix and then add my own sand, which I did with the other walls I did a few years back. But this is just sort of ease, because I need to buy a bulk bag of sand really. I think I just need to bite the bullet and buy a big bulk bag of sand, and then I can mix all this stuff up over time. I just didn't want a big bulk bag of sand down at the bottom of the drive, because it's going to be, it's a pain, because it's going to be ages until I get round through it, and I don't really want it sitting on in the way, so I'm not sure. But this will be fine for now. So yeah, let's get started with a bit of pointing and back pointing, actually it's called, first, which is basically putting stuff back into the wall and reinforcing it and stuff. So yeah, let's get on with that. Once that's ready, I'll dampen it down and be able to get some mortar in here and some stones. So I want to make sure that it's nice and ready to take the mortar. Any loose stuff. Right, so as you can see, that won't fit, so I'll keep that for later. And it's just a case of finding stones that might be suitable. If they're not, you can always break off a little bit. I think that might be slightly too big, but it's ideal if I can get that. And then any of these small bits down here, I could just backfill with basically just bits. You know, the bits of thing, you basically just stuff them in to make sure that there's plenty of support in the wall. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to smash off a little bit of that, so that fits nicely in there now. Clean it up a little bit because it's got a bit of moss on. Need to get my wire brush actually, and that will fit quite nicely there in that gap. What I might do is just take off. You've got to be fairly careful when you're breaking the sandstone up, because you could quite easily end up breaking too much off of it. Some more here, see if I can fit. So you can tap it in as well. What you don't want is if you knock anything off like that, you could just backfill them. So that might go in there if I can get that in. I don't think it's going to go. No, that's not no good. But what I could do, I could leave that in, so I can backfill these. Just tap them in. all these little bits could go in there. You can see it's quite a laborious task, this, but if you do it right, then it does reward you in the end with a nice looking wall. Basically, you've got to feed the mortar in. You can use your hands. And just tap. Any mortar that comes out, you can reuse. Pop it in. There you go. So it may not look very pretty at the moment, but once that's all been scraped off and brushed up, that will come out looking great. So that's that area done. So what I'm going to move on to now is these further areas. Now I'm not going to do everything. I'm not going to completely repoint like here and stuff for now, because I want to keep as much structure in the wall as possible. What I will do is revisit this later on in the year once this has started to harden and it's really got its structure in. Then I can start taking away some other older mortar, raking it out, repointing that. So it's basically just reinforcement here at the moment. So yeah, now I've done this area, I can move up to the next part, which is here. Now here, I've got a loose stone here, which I could probably just take out, get a little bit of mortar in and put that back in. So I'll do that now. That's called backfilling. A little bit there as well. And then that could just go back in and tap it home like that. I don't think you actually saw any of that. So yeah, I've tapped that in there. So yeah, I've just got to find something quite nice to go on the front of here, which will be a facing stone. So it's not really adding any structure to it as such. It's just making it look good, something along those lines. But that's too big. So yeah, the idea is that really you want every stone you put in your wall to be sort of structural. And then anything that is just a facing stone, you want to keep to a minimum, really. So yeah, let's continue on with this little part here. So here, what I was talking about, a facing stone, be something like that. So that will basically go on there. And it doesn't really add any structure, but it looks nice. So I think we're ready to put some of that on. So need a fair bit of the mortar on here so it sticks. So basically like that, and then just tap it on, tap it in position. That's broken there, that's okay. Put a bit of water over that, not too bad. Put it up here. Like that, like so. A lot of this work won't be, it's not going to be perfect. Yeah, I'm going to have to tap off things like this as well, but very carefully. I don't want to be putting too much, you know, knocking too much around by the wall. So I've got to take this stuff off. To get down to the decent areas where I can add some mortar to. So here, for example, I can put a stone, probably want a longer stone, something like that, but a little bit smaller that would fit in that gap would be perfect. Something like that. If I can break that up, get that in there, something along those lines would be ideal. So yeah, I'm going to put you on time lapse and I'm going to continue doing all of this. Okay, so a little bit of an update. As you can see, I time-lapsed that. I don't know how much it came out, but I've basically pointed up, back pointed all the bottom part here, and also at the side there as well. So as you can see, that's reasonably good. Goes in a bit, but of course I'm limited to what I can actually do because of the existing wall. Can't disturb it. So now I'm just going to work out around here and repoint this, I think, because this all needs doing. So I'm going to rake out some of this and get some new mortar in there. And also this cement really needs to come out as well, but I might leave that for now and then revisit that because I don't want to be disturbing too much. I'm quite happy with how that's gone, and that's getting to a level where I can start building this up. This is basically going to be almost like a whole new bit of wall along the side here. So it's getting a nice solid base for the new stuff, because there's going to be some quite bigger stones going in here. as you can see, I've got a sort of backfill in the back of these bricks as well. Yeah, so if I do the bottom bit here, as much as I think is worthwhile, and that'll be a good job. That's this area now repointed and backfilled up to about there. So I did the corner as well the best I could there, down the bottom. All this needs pulling out because there's probably stuff to do under there as well. So now, yeah, the real part starts where I've got to start building up here now. So the bottom is pretty solid. It's got a nice base, and where all this mortar is, I've tried to pack in little bits of stone and stuff like that in there so that it's quite strong. Probably remortared a little bit more than what I was going to originally. There isn't that much left, to be honest with you. The original stuff, there's a bit here. Possibly I should rake that out and just get that done at the same time, because pretty much all this will need raking out, so that would mean the whole wall will be done, which may as well get done. This big stone here, which hopefully will go around here. I might be able to finish it off a little bit to go on the edge there, if I can get some sort of clean edge on there, but putting it there might be better. So yeah, got a bit of thought to do there. Okay, a bit of an update. That's as far as I've got so far. I've used up all that mortar now. So I've built it up to here. I had to remove a couple of the bricks here, blocks there. Can't really afford to remove too much more than that. But it's starting to get pretty much level with where it needs to join up to. Of course, all these blocks are all sort of different, random. So now I need to try and get this pretty much level so I can get a bigger brick. What I plan on doing is putting this thinner brick on the top there, upright, and that will key it all in. I need to clean out this area. It's certainly coming along. I need to knock up some more mortar. A little bit of an update again. Now got that larger piece in, and I've got two larger bricks next to it, so that should give some sort of stability. And it also leaves me with a reasonably big flat bit here leading onto here, so I'm going to see if I can find quite a large flat brick block rather that will basically slot in there, or even better, a really long thin one that will go over the three. I haven't been able to find any here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through to my large storage of blocks and see if I can find one. Take the wheelbarrow with me. It's coming along. Okay, so now I'm down at the bottom of my field where I've got all the stone stored up from where I did my house renovation. As you can see, I've got some contenders here. There's that one, it's quite nice. I'll stick that in the wheelbarrow. And this one, which also looks pretty good. Actually, that one might be perfect. So I'll take that. When I'm here, I might get a couple of others as well. Shouldn't be any bricks here really, but there is. I don't think I'll be using anything that big, so I'll try and keep it to fairly small blocks just as I'm building it up. Right, so I've got these. Let's see how that goes. Right, so I knocked some of the back out of that one, and that now fits really nicely over the top, and it will tie in this quite nicely. So I'm quite pleased with that. And that will tie in these block work across. Yeah, that's almost perfect how I wanted it. Okay, a little bit of an update. A few hours late, I've done quite a bit of work on it now. So I'm up to here. So I've got that big rock. If you remember that big rock, I've managed to put that larger one there, and I've put that one there. So these all the way up here to about here is just all filling up where there was a gap, and it's reasonably level with the wall. It's very hard to get it to match because I've got to make sure that it's sitting on something and it's all solid, and I can't really mess with what's behind either, which is quite difficult. So hopefully this will be okay. I'm going to get up to here, do some more here, and I can start pointing this part here. Okay, so here's the wall so far, and now I'm up to this bit. So I think that's okay. Not overly happy with this actually, but might just put some mortar across there just to tidy it up. But for the end of the wall, making it all watertight and pointed, I'm fairly happy with that. Working with basically what I've got, I can't adjust very much at all. I did move this very, very carefully. I basically took this one out and then I ended up putting it back to front, back in, straighten it out because it was crooked. I'm hoping I might be able to do something similar with this one when I get to it. So that's not a very nice brick block either. Yeah, I think that's made it a lot more solid now. It needs pointing in here now. Right, that's the end of the day, and that's how it's looking now, which I'm pretty pleased with really, considering what I'm working with. I've got up to there basically, so this is all repointed and stuff. It's got to finish the top bit and sort that out, but all this is now sort of flattened out here, which is good. Put a few new brick blocks in, Notice this one's eroding here, so I'm probably going to take out that bit. Can't really move too much of this. Hopefully take that out if I can. Put a block there. But that's for another day. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. It needs tapping down once it's started to set a little bit. It needs protecting from the frost as well, because we're still getting cold mornings. It's a shame that this goes in here a little bit. There wasn't really a lot I could do about that. It's really the best I could get it. I really couldn't disturb basically this and what that was sitting on. So yeah, I'm reasonably pleased with that. Once it's all set, so I'll be able to tap it down, which basically you hit it with your brush and that compacts it, and then after a few more days I can brush it down and tidy it up, and that should be a nice finish then. So this isn't the actual final finish. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that little video. More to come on this as I complete the work. But as you can see, everything is fixable with a bit of hard graft. So yeah, see you in the next one, guys. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.